Good morning, guys. How's everybody doing? Today is Wednesday, May 6th. And since school has been out, Miss Wainwright has been doing a read aloud a day for you guys with different picture books. And so today I'm going to start recording some chapter books, guys, because normally this time of the year, actually from January on, we are reading chapter books in the classroom in our book clubs. And one of the chapter books that we absolutely love is the Magic Treehouse series. And I pulled out two that I brought home with me when I was able to get into my classroom. And Pirates Past Noon is the first one I'm going to read to you guys. So if you have not read Magic Treehouse books before, I'm going to give you a little background on Magic Treehouse books, okay? First of all, Jack and Annie are the main characters, okay? And they live in a place called Frog Creek, Pennsylvania, okay? And this is what happens to them. One day, they go into the woods, just, playing, walking around, just, exploring nature, and they find a gigantic tree house up in a huge tree in the woods. And the ladder is forever long because it's so tall. And Annie was busting to get up in there. Now, Jack, he was like, oh, I don't know if we should. I don't know. But they ended up going in that magic treehouse, guys. And guess what it was filled with? Some of my favorite things. Books. I love books. I've got a new book coming tomorrow and another book coming on. No, actually, I have a book coming today from Amazon and another one coming tomorrow. I got an email saying they were coming, and I'm super stoked about that because Miss Wainwright loves to read. So anyway, it was filled with books, and they found out that they could have the grandest adventures by using these books, guys, okay? So before we start reading Pirates Past Noon, I wanted to talk to you about a comprehension strategy that is very important when we start reading chapter books, and that is visualization. Ooh, that's a big word, isn't it? Visualization. It means visualizing something, seeing something. Another thing we call this is mental images, because we're not actually seeing an image, but we're seeing it in our mind, guys. We're getting pictures in our mind of the story. So it's kind of like watching a movie play out in your mind, and that is very important. Magic Treehouse has a few pictures, but there are, and you're going to be getting into these chapter books in second grade, there are some chapter books that don't have a lot of pictures. So we're going to get started with Pirates Past Noon, and the first chapter is called Too Late. And this is number 4. So Jack and Annie have already been on 3 adventures in the Magic Treehouse before this book happens. Okay, so it might talk about some of the things that happened in the other treehouse. So here we see Jack and Annie looking out the window, and it's raining. Do you ever look out the window and wish it would stop raining? Chapter 1, Too Late. Jack stared out his bedroom window. The rain kept falling and falling. The TV said it would stop by noon, said Annie, his 7-year-old sister. It's already past noon, said Jack. But we have to go to the treehouse, said Annie. I have a feeling the M person will be there today. Jack pushed his glasses into place and took a deep breath. He wasn't sure he was ready to meet the M person yet, the mysterious person who had put all the books in the Magic Treehouse. Come on, said Annie. Jack sighed. Okay, he said. You get our raincoats and boots. I'll get the medallion and bookmark. Annie ran to get their rain gear. Jack reached into his drawer. He took out the medallion. It was gold. The letter M was engraved on it. Then he took out the bookmark. It was made of blue leather. It had the same M on it. Both M's matched the M that was on the floor of the treehouse. Jack put the medallion and bookmark into his backpack. Then he threw in his notebook and pencil. Jack liked to take notes about important things. "I got our rain stuff," called Annie. Jack picked up his pack and went downstairs. Annie was waiting by the back door. She was putting on her boots. "Meet you outside," she said. Jack pulled on his raincoat and boots. Then he put on his backpack and joined her. The wind was blowing hard. "Ready, set, go!" shouted Annie. They kept their heads down and charged into the rainy wind. Soon they were in the Frog Creek woods. Tree branches swayed, flinging rainwater everywhere. "Yuck," said Annie. They splashed through puddles until they came to the tallest oak tree in the woods. They looked up. Tucked between two branches was the treehouse. It looked dark and lonely against the stormy sky. Hanging from the treehouse was a rope ladder. It was blowing in the wind. Jack thought of all the books up there. He hoped they weren't getting wet. "The M person's been there," said Annie. Jack caught his breath. "How can you tell?" he said. "I can feel it," she whispered. She grabbed the rope ladder and started up. Jack followed. Inside the treehouse, it was chilly and damp, but the books were dry. They were all neatly stacked along the wall, just the way they had been the day before. Annie picked up a castle book on top of one stack. It had taken them to the time of castles. "Remember the knight?" she said. Jack nodded. He would never forget the knight who had helped them. Annie put down the castle book. She picked up the next book on the stack. It was the dinosaur book that had taken them to the time of dinosaurs. "Remember?" she said. Jack nodded. He'd never forget the pteranodon who had saved him from the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Then Annie held up a book about ancient Egypt. "Meow," she said. Jack smiled. The Egypt book had taken them to the time of pyramids, and a black cat had come to the rescue there. "And here's the book about home," Annie said. She held up the book with the picture of their hometown in it, Frog Creek, Pennsylvania. Jack smiled again. The Pennsylvania book had brought them back home at the end of each of their adventures. All right, guys, we don't have a picture of the rope ladder. We didn't get a picture of the treehouse up in the tree, but can we stop for a minute and just kind of picture what that would look like? What do you think the treehouse is made of? You think it's made of wood? What color do you picture the wood being? Tan, brown, white, black, maybe? Lots of different colors, but can you picture it? And that rope ladder, a ladder that hangs down and it has rope across for each rung and you can climb up it. Have you ever seen one of those? I'm just picturing that in my mind in that huge oak tree. Jack still had two main questions. Who was the M person who had put all the books here? And did the knight, the pteranodon, and the cat all know the M person? Finally, Jack reached into his backpack. He took out the gold medallion and the leather bookmark. He placed them on the floor, right over the spot where the M glowed faintly in the wood. Rain blew into the treehouse. "Brr," said Annie. "It's not very cozy today." Jack agreed with her. It was too wet and cold. "Look," Annie pointed to an open book lying in the corner. "I don't remember a book being open." "Me neither," said Jack. Annie picked up the book. She stared at the picture on the page. "Wow, this place looks great." She showed the picture to Jack. He saw a sunny beach, a big green parrot sitting in a palm tree, and a ship sailing on a blue sea. Another gust of rainy wind blew into the treehouse. Annie pointed to the picture. I wish we were there instead of here, she said. Yeah, said Jack, but where is there? Too late, came a squawk. Jack and Annie turned quickly. Sitting on a branch outside the window ledge of the treehouse was a green parrot, exactly like the parrot in the picture. Too late, the parrot squawked again. A talking parrot, said Annie. Is your name Polly? Can I call you Polly? Suddenly the wind started to whistle. Oh no! Now we're in big trouble, said Jack. The wind blew harder. The leaves shook. The treehouse started to spin faster and faster. Jack squeezed his eyes shut. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. Too late, squawked Polly. And here's our one picture in that chapter, and it's the picture of them sitting in the treehouse when the parrot shows up outside the window, guys. Okay, now that's the end of our first chapter. And so normally what we do is we stop after each chapter and we talk about what was the most important things that happened in this chapter, okay? Like, what are the things we need to remember? So we definitely want to remember that when they went back to the treehouse, Annie felt like someone had been there. Like she just said she could feel it. And then they go up and they found all the books were dry, even though it had been raining. And they saw that one book was opened, and it was a book with a sunny beach on it. And as soon as Annie said, I wish we were there, guess what happened? The treehouse started spinning and spinning and spinning. And now we're going to find out what's going to happen in chapter 2, which is called The Bright Blue Sea. Jack felt hot sunlight streaming into the treehouse. He smelled salt water. He heard the sound of waves. He and Annie looked out the window. The treehouse was in a palm tree. Beyond was a bright blue sea. A tall sailing ship was on the horizon. Can you picture that, guys? Like looking out there? The horizon is where the water meets the sky when you're looking out at the ocean, or it looks like it meets the sky out there on the horizon line, and they see a big ship out there. Have you ever been at the beach and looked out and saw a big ship? We can picture that in our mind. It was just like the picture in the book. Too late, squawked Polly. Look, said Annie. Polly was flying in circles above the treehouse. Then she swooped down to the ocean. Come on, let's follow her. Let's go in the water, said Annie. She took off her raincoat and dropped it on the floor. Wait, we have to study the book first, said Jack. He started to reach for the book, but Annie grabbed it. You can read it on the beach, she said. Without even looking at the cover, she shoved the book into Jack's backpack. He sighed. Actually, the water did look wonderful. Okay, Jack said. He took off his raincoat too. Come on! Annie handed Jack his backpack, then started down the ladder. Jack folded the raincoat and put it next to the stack of books. He put on his backpack. Then he went down the ladder. As soon as Annie hit the sand, she ran toward the ocean. Jack watched her wade into the water. She was still wearing her rain boots. Your boots, Annie, called Jack. She shrugged. They'll dry out, she said. Jack took off his boots and socks. He put them beside his pack. Then he rolled up his jeans and ran across the hot sand into the waves. The water was warm and clear. Jack could see shells and tiny fishes. He shielded his eyes against the sun and peered out at the sea. The tall sailing ship seemed a bit closer. Where's Polly? Asked Annie. Jack glanced around. No sign of Polly. Not in the palm trees. Not on the sunlit sand. Not over the bright blue sea. And here's our one picture probably for this chapter. And there they are down on the beach. And there's the big sailing ship out on the ocean, guys. When Jack looked out at the sea again, the ship seemed even closer. Now Jack could see its flag. As he stared at the ship's flag, a chill went through him. The flag was black with a skull and crossbones. Oh, man, he breathed. He started out of the water. What's wrong? Said Annie. She splashed after him. Jack ran to his backpack. Annie followed. He grabbed the back from his backpack. He looked at the cover. For the first time, he and Annie read the title of the book. Yikes, said Annie. Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack read aloud. Pirates. And that's the end of chapter 2, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to read 2 more chapters, and each day we'll read a couple of chapters until we finish the book. So what would you say is the most important details we just learned in chapter 2? Thinking about that flag? Yeah, when we see the skull and crossbones, that means danger. So I can understand why Jack is a little bit concerned. Pirates were not the nicest kind of people. Like, they roamed the seas just looking for other ships to steal from, and they would hide all of the things that they stole. They had treasure maps and things like that. You getting some good pictures in your mind now about pirates? Yeah, this is one of my favorite books, guys. It's a really, really good one, and we've got some really seriously interesting characters going to be entering the story in the next few chapters. So I hope you enjoyed those 2 chapters in the Magic Tree House. And I also wanted to tell you that Mary Pope Osborne, she's the author of the Magic Tree House. She's doing a really cool website right now for all of us little peeps that love Magic Tree House and are stuck at home learning right now. And it has a lot of activities and games and things like that. And she's reading some of her books too that you can listen to. And I'm going to include that link in with the link to watch these first 2 chapters of the book, guys. So I hope you'll go check that out, and I hope you enjoy it. I love you, and I hope you have a blessed day. See you next time.